cousin house, somebody gonna rob your house. Don't get robbed. We're here to expand, we can grow so we can help more, and we can do more for the community. And we need your help. We need you guys to help us stay alive and keep people off the streets, keep life in people's bodies, and keep everybody healthy, learning the skill so they can achieve their, not just fitness goals, but their personal goals and staying positive. And I need you guys to help me help the world.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brooklyn Boxing Podcast. I'm here with Eric Kelly. Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it.
My God, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, man. So we'll hop right into your story. I think it's a really interesting one. I know you were born in Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm from Florida.
So at what point did you move over to Brooklyn? You were pretty young once you moved over, right?
I would go back and forth to Brooklyn from a baby, but then I would go back and I'd stay in Brooklyn for a while, then go to Florida for a couple of years, come back. I would do that. But then I made it permanent in third grade. So I was like 8 years old, like 88.
Okay.
That's when I made it permanent.
So you already had family in New York?
Yeah, so much family. Like I got probably the biggest family in the world. So my family is huge in Florida and New York. You know what I'm saying? So like my dad's from New York and my mom Brooklyn. You understand what I'm saying? My mom Florida, my dad Brooklyn. So my dad and mom met in Florida, you know, and my dad would go back and forth, and I moved here with my dad back in '88 permanently.
And your dad, was he a boxer, or was your family, like, what was the history of boxing in your family? Because I know he kind of guided you in, right? Yeah.
He got me into boxing. He got me into boxing. And I'm the only fighter in my family. He was a big fan of the sport. My dad was he liked cyclists, you know what I'm saying? He worked construction for Tishman contractors. And he was a cyclist, but he got me into boxing to keep me off the streets, you understand? And the Bed-Stuy boxing gym, that's the neighborhood in Brooklyn where I grew up in, Bed-Stuy. The Bed-Stuy boxing gym was not too far from my house at all. So he would take me to the Bed-Stuy boxing gym, to keep me out of trouble. There's a lot of shootings and stuff going on in the neighborhood and whatnot. So he'd keep me out of trouble by taking me to the gym.
So when you first got into the gym in Bed-Stuy, around what age were you? Were you 10, 12?
I was probably like 9. I was probably like 9. I was probably like 9 years old, 8, 9 years old. But I would be there. I would be there for a while, then I would not be there for a while. Then I would be there for a while, then not, like a seasonal thing. You understand what I'm saying? And but during that time, it was just to keep me out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Keep me out the streets. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't really get into it until like mid-90s, 94, 95, around there. That's when I got into it.
Yeah. And I was looking at, obviously you have a pretty extensive amateur career. But when you first really started taking boxing seriously, at Bed-Stuy and then eventually Gleasons, right? You had some, the first thing that pops when you look at your story and your career is the guys that you had training you. You had some trainers that had like crazy history in the sport. Hector Roca.
Hector Roca. I had. Well, George Washington is my foundation.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And George Washington, George Washington created legendary world champions from the ground up, from the first day they stepped in the gym. Guys like Michael Bent, guys like Riddick Bowe, guys like Mark Breland. All those guys went on to win world championships as professionals. Mark Olympic gold medalists, Riddick Bowe Olympic silver medalists, you know what I'm saying? So they all went on to achieve great things in the sport of boxing. And George Washington was my foundation. George Washington was older, so you had Harry. You got Harry and Blimp, Harry Kidd and Delenn Parsley, Blimp. And George was older, so those guys pretty much did the work for George. You understand? Because he was an old man, Yeah. Those guys will hold the mitts for you. Those guys would you know, take you, travel with you for different fights. George would come to fights also, but that was when they was more local, like in Gleasons or in Bedside Gym or something like that. But George was the Yoda of the Bed-Stuy boxing gym. He controlled the whole gym.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, as a young kid, like learning from those guys, like the importance of having that quality level trainer for you before you even maybe at that point. I mean, you were already taking it pretty seriously, but I mean, the skills that those guys gave you. No wonder you had such a successful amateur career.
Yeah, I've been blessed. I've been blessed to be under the watchful eye of a lot of great trainers, guys like Al Mitchell. You know, Al Mitchell was the 1996 Olympic head coach, the 2004 Olympic coach. He trained several world champions like Vernon Forrest, David Reed, you know what I'm saying, Olympic gold medalists. And like from the ground up, you know what I'm saying? Even Emmanuel Stewart. I worked with Emmanuel Stewart for a little bit, you know? So I've been blessed to have some real prolific coaches work with me.
And when you won your first national title at 16, you were out of Gleasons, and Hector was your kind of trainer at the time.
Yeah.
Like, take me through that run and how the beginning of that run to a national title, like the emotions behind it, and when you knew, or did you already know going into it that you were a favorite to take that title?
I knew I was gonna go far. Did I think I was gonna be do as much as I did in boxing? No. I thought I would do more than I did in boxing.
Okay.
I thought I would do more than I did. You understand what I'm saying? When I in '97, that's when I won my first national title. I was 16. Hector Roca was my trainer. And I would always tell my dad, I want to fight in the Junior Olympics this year. I want to fight the Junior Olympics this year. And I did it. I fought in it and I won. And then I just took one fight at a time, literally. I won the Junior Olympics. Then I went to the regionals. I won the regionals. And then I went to the nationals. I won the nationals. I went on a long undefeated spree to win all those tournaments, you know, because amateur boxing is a single elimination tournament. So if you lose one fight, it's over till next year. You understand? Yeah. But I was fortunate enough to win the whole championship and get to represent Team USA and Mexico at the internationals, and that's where I got a bronze medal at in the internationals. So I finished ranked number 1 in the USA, number 4 in the world as a junior.
I mean, your amateur background in the late '90s really took off, and you won a bunch of tournaments. And then in 2000, you know, the national Golden Gloves champion. So the success kept going, and you know, take me through also, you know, being an Olympic alternate and being in Michigan in that training facility. I know you've talked about it before, about some of the amazing athletes that you were around and that overall experience.
Like, wow, we got to, wow. First of all, props to the USOAC Bad Boys. Once a bad boy, always a bad boy. And that was the name of my boxing team. It was the USOAC, United States Olympic Education Center. And there's 4 Olympic centers in the USA. There's one in Lake Placid, there's one in San Diego, there's one in Colorado, and the one I went to was in Michigan, the United States Olympic Education Center. And that's the only one where it's the only Olympic training center where you can get your education simultaneously. And that's through Northern Michigan University. You understand? So we trained and lived on campus. And we had, we had an amazing time up there. You know what I'm saying? And not just boxing. It was the sports there was boxing. It was wrestling. It was speed skating. It was downhill skiing. It was luge. So it was, some of the athletes there when I was there, boxers, myself, you got David Reed, Olympic gold medalist. You got Vernon Forrest, 5-time world champ, 1992 Olympian. You got Jermaine Taylor, middleweight champion of the world, Olympic bronze medalist. You got Clarence Vincent, Olympic bronze medalist. You got Brian Valoria, amateur world champion, and like 4-time professional world champion. Like, so many iconic fighters came out of the USOAC. You got Zaire Rahim, 1996 Olympian, destroyed Eric Morales. Like, we had an amazing team. And then we had Apollo Anton Ono, the speed skater. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had Shawnee Davis, speed skater. So we had a lot of real prolific athletes, like, come out the United States Olympic Education Center program. And that, like, we all occupied the third floor of Milan Hall. That was the name of the hall we said at Milan Hall. And the third, it was three stories. The third floor was strictly for the USOAC. You understand what I'm saying? So you had all of us athletes just on this one floor of the hall, you know? And, you know, we stuck together. We became real good friends with each other. And I remember back in the, like 10 years ago, I was doing some designing. For T-shirts and stuff. I like doing that because I've always been artistic. And I got to design some shirts for Apollo Ono for the Winter Olympics. And,
no way.
And I did some stuff for Shawnee Davis and, you know, Saku Powell, a lot of my boxing friends. Yeah, we had a real good time up there.
That's awesome. And did you do any like cross training? Like, did those guys, in terms of workouts, did you try to, you know, maybe implement some of that?
I will work out with the wrestling team sometime. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever ran down on me, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna box me because you know I'm a boxer. You understand? Right. You're gonna try to take me down. And when you take me down, I'm gonna fuck you up because I can wrestle too. You understand?
that was like your early MMA experience, right?
Yeah, that was my early MMA experience, boxing and wrestling.
Were there any? So yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. I mean, I'm sure like those wrestlers, obviously,
yeah,
just as a combat sport, an individual sport, I would imagine the mentality of some of those guys you could draw some things from, right? Because I mean, those wrestlers, that's very intense. Sport as well in terms of the one-on-one comp.
Yeah. Yep. And you know what? We developed a bond so big that way after we left school, the most unlikely thing happened. My friend, great friend, Zach Lamano, he was one of the wrestlers on the team. Back in 2009, he saved my life because when I left school, you know, in like 2006 and 2007, I had children, you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly when the economy tanked, you know? So I was running around on different jobs, trying to find work to make an honest living to feed my family. I couldn't do that. The economy tanked, you know? And me and my girlfriend, the mother of my children at the time, broke up, and they went their way, I went my way. Now I was just out there stranded, you know? I was homeless. And Zach Lamano was one of the USOSC wrestlers, and he's from Salt Lake City, Utah. But the funny thing is, he moved to New York City because he was working. And then when I found out he was in New York, he let me come up and stay with him. And I came and I stayed with him until I got back on my feet. I had landed a job at Church Street Boxing Gym. And I got on my feet, and Zach Lamano was there every step of the way. So I'm always going to be in debt to Zach Lamano. I love Zach.
Wow. Yeah. It's funny how life works. You know, you get those relationships, and then it can come right back to you.
Yeah.
And, you know, I definitely wanted to jump into some conversation about your time at Church Street and kind of where that led you. But before we do that, you know, just to touch on it quickly, obviously you had, you know, that eye injury that, you know, changed your path, boxing career. But a fight before that I think is really interesting was with Andre Ward, a guy who obviously went on to be in an Olympic.
One of the greatest of all time.
The greatest of all time. And that's a guy that you fought in the finals when you were ranked number 1, correct?
Yes, sir. I was ranked number 1 in the USA at the time. And when I fought Dre, I was the man. I was the defending national Golden Glove champ. I had won the national Golden Gloves. I was the Olympic alternate. I was the man during that time. You understand what I'm saying? And I blew, and that competition, the U.S. Championships, I never forget it. I blew through everyone I fought. You understand what I'm saying? And going up to Andre Ward in the finals, I never heard of him. He'd heard of me because I'm older. You understand what I'm saying? And a couple of the tournaments that he won, I had won before he did. You understand?
Yeah.
So he had heard of me, but like I was looking so far ahead that I wasn't looking back to see who was coming, like see who was under me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking so far ahead, it actually got into my head. You understand? And me and Andre Ward had a real good fight. You know, we and Andre Ward had a real good fight. We did our thing. You know, we did our thing. And after the fight, I was like, yo, this little motherfucker beat me. You understand? Because I got Dre by a few years. I'm like, yo, this little motherfucker beat me. You know, I'm like right now, I'm the #1 guy in the USA. I'm supposed to carry the torch to 2004 and win the gold medal. But little did I know it was like a relay race, a relay race, and I was just passing the torch to Andre Ward, and he was gonna just keep running and never to be seen again. You know what I'm saying? Because wow, I didn't know that little light skinned kid running around with braids looking like Ludacris. I didn't know that no one knew that he was gonna be one of the best fighters of all time.
Right.
I didn't lose to someone that, okay, he had a good little 2-year run. Now what happened to him? I didn't lose to that guy. I lost to a guy that ended up being one of the best fighters to ever live. He lost his last fight when he was 12 years old. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He beat the amateur world champ. He beat Eric Kelly. You know what I'm saying? He beat some legendary fighters to get where amateur and professionals to get where he's at. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
He went to the Super 6 tournament. He was an underdog. Guys like Jermaine Taylor, guys like Arthur Abraham, Carl Froch. You understand what I'm saying? Andre Durrell, Alan Green. Like, it was so many, you know.
Kovalev were that was like the stamp on his career, really.
Those 2 fights with Kovalev was the stamp, because that was that, like, I can't sit there and say Kovalev was the marquee name. I can't say Kovalev was the marquee name.
It was big adversity for him because he got
but
robbed.
It's the adversity, considering that he was up to a new weight class, 175, light heavyweight, and Kovalev was a knockout artist, had just beat up Bernard Hopkins. And Bernard Hopkins is a fighter that everyone compares to Andre Ward, or you know what I'm saying, or they compare Andre Ward to him. You know, so when Ward fought Kovalev and he suffered that knockdown in the second round, everybody thought it was over. Like, oh my God! But guess what? To me, it was like the second round of Mosley Mayweather. Mosley hurt Mayweather the second round. And if you remember, Mayweather still won the second round. Despite the knockdown, Mayweather still put it on Mosley the rest of the second round. And Ward continued to put it on Kovalev the rest of the second round. And Ward actually hurt Kovalev in that fight. He dropped Ward. Ward got right back up and dug in his ass. Ward had Kovalev hurt, holding on.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, Ward is a legend, and like you said, like those 2 fights really put the stamp on it. And what I love about Ward too is he really retired on top. He didn't draw out his career too long. He left while he was on top, and he was comfortable with that. And I know people are trying to draw him back out for a potential fight with like Canelo or something like that, but he said forget it. Unless they give him a big.
Even in the amateurs, despite the fact that he was a young teen, 17, 18, whatever, even in the amateurs, mentally, Andre Ward was always like on another level of focus.
Yeah.
Despite him being younger than us. You know, the rest of us, we was 19, 20, 21 years old. We wanted to go out, hang out, party. Hey, Andre Ward was always like, on a whole nother. Now I'm just gonna, go back to the room, grab some fruit, go back to the room. I'm gonna watch some tapes. I'm gonna read the book. You know what I'm saying? This was before the Bible. This is before. Yeah, this is before Andre Ward. You know what I'm saying? Got as deep into the Bible as he is.
Yeah, yeah.
He was always on another. He was always on another wavelength. So you got to give him a lot of respect for his maturity.
100%. Yeah. So I mean, to fight a guy like that, and not know, you know, what he would become. You know, you must have been moving on from that fight, right? After you took that loss against Andre. At the time, it's like, you know, Andre, he's a great fighter, but you didn't know what he was going to become. So in your mind, you said, all right, I'm going to move on to the next step here. You know, where was your head after that? And then, you know, obviously what led to
I got after that, I got so caught up in the streets.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I was still a little bit, you know, dabbling in little dumb shit. But after that, I got so caught up in the streets because I had experienced a lot of success young, and I thought it would never end. I can't say I didn't work hard for it because I worked extremely hard. But when you've been working hard since 9 years old, you don't know what a regular day is. Working hard is your regular day. Working hard is your life. That's all you know. So you don't know that you're even working hard. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when but you know, I got a little bit older, you know, started doing my thing with street life and women and stuff, and not living the life of an elite athlete. You understand what I'm saying? And not having that level of focus of an Andre Ward.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I was, you know, I was out having fun. And I thought my talent would never go anywhere. I thought I'd be 21 forever. I thought I'd be, you know, 19, 20 those years. I thought I'd be that age forever. You know what I'm saying? And despite me, I like to go out. I like to party. I like to be in the clubs and shit. But I never had a drink of alcohol in my life. I never touched alcohol or any drugs, you know, to this day. So, and I was out there. I'm like, well, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I can afford to do this and I can afford to do that. No, you got to get your rest.
Yep.
All that other shit is distractions.
Yeah, I mean, I think
they say live, and then when you listen to a person, you know, when you're an elite athlete, it's hard to survive because you one in a billion. You know, people in your family, your friends, they all tell you, "Oh, don't worry, just live a little." You know what I'm saying? You only live once. Have a little candy. You're a kid. You know, go out, have fun, experiment. You got to live life. I mean, that's easy. It's easy to fall victim to that because everybody you've ever been surrounded by is a civilian.
Right.
Think about it. Your parents are civilians. 9 times out of 10, your friends are civilians. You know what I'm saying? You the Olympic athlete. You the one that want to be the best in the world. Everybody else is civilians. You're a champion. You want to be a champion. So when you're surrounded by civilians and a whole bunch of civilians putting shit in your ear, man, it takes a very, 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 very elite mind to block all that stuff out when it's coming from your parents, when it's coming from your friends and your family, to block out all those distractions and ignore them.
Yep.
Because because like you're young, you don't even know life. You don't even know life yet. You don't know life. You know, you don't know life. You think this just comes natural. No, it don't come natural. You gotta respect the process, and it's a long process.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, in an individual sport, especially, I think there's so much focus needed to get to that next level. You see it like with guys like Andre in boxing, or like Tiger Woods in golf, and like just an example of an individual sport athlete. It's really different than a team sport because it's like that level of focus. You really got to have those blinders on, and it's a different level, like you were just talking about. But once
when you're an individual athlete, it's all on you.
Exactly.
It's all on you. You feel me? in a basketball game, you know, the point guard could have an amazing game, but the center's having a terrible game and the team lose. You feel me? The point guard might get a triple-double. But the center, he can't keep motherfuckers out the paint. They ducking on him.
Right. It's a whole different beast. So, you know, once you you know, obviously you had the incident where you injured your eye outside of the ring, and you know that led you down that path where you were kind of struggling for a little bit, trying to figure out what you were going to do next. But thank God, you know, things worked out. And like you said earlier, you got that job at Church Street, and you were training people there, getting people in shape, and funny how life works. You know, that video that came out of you training people kind of went viral, right? With your style.
What video?
Wasn't there a video of you that you know, Comedy Central kind of picked up with the Daily Show and you training people, and it kind of
I was on the Daily Show.
That's what it said. Yeah, I mean, there was a video.
Comedy Central.
There's a video of you training some Wall Street people, kind of, you know, with your funny personality and kind of making fun of them and stuff like that, and people really enjoyed it, and it was an entertaining thing, and I think that kind of helped go viral and get some eyeballs. Yeah, I'll have to send you the links.
I ain't seen that shit for real.
Well, yeah, I mean, it led to you training some pretty high profile people, right? I know Pusha T and Brandon Marshall or something.
Yeah, I've been training a lot of celebrities, you know, Pusha T, Brandon Marshall, Jessica Hart, you know, Future, you know, I became friends with P. Diddy and Michael Pitt, a whole bunch of them. I can go on and on. But yeah, Smoke Dizza, Black Thought. Wow, I don't know where to stop.
Any of those guys really stand out to you, boxing skill?
I like Brandon Marshall
because he's been flirting with boxing for real, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah. And Brandon's just talking.
He's just talking.
Yeah, Brandon's too old, man. Brandon just talking. Plus injuries from football. Come on, you don't want no injury to your jaw. You already got your knees fucked up, your toe fucked up. Now, you know what I'm saying? You don't want injury to your jaw. Boxing is a whole nother animal, Brandon. You feel me? You know what? Do me a favor. This is what I need you to do. You're going to help me out. Tell Odell Beckham, I said, get the fuck in the gym. Say, Eric Kelly's waiting on you. Get in the gym. All right? That's what I need. I need you to send that message to Odell Beckham. Odell, Eric Kelly's waiting on you. Because he been bullshit. Huh?
You to train him or to fight him?
No, we training. We train. I'm not fighting Odell. Odell, my man. I wouldn't fight Odell.
So you want to get him in the gym? Why? Because
I've been trying to get Odell in the gym. Odell be fronting though. You're like, yo, I'm coming. I need it. Then he hit me up asking me about boxing technique. What the fuck you want to know about the jab for? If you want to know about the jab, go let me teach you the jab. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think he's a guy that could translate well into boxing, and he's just like a really like elite level athlete, right? I mean, I know
he's an elite level athlete. Can he transfer to boxing? I don't know. Not many football players do it successfully. You understand what I'm saying? Stay where you at. He can do it successfully. If you want to get like a little amateur fight, some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He can look good on the mitts, get a couple of amateur fights, fuck a couple people up in the amateur fights. Yeah, he can do that, of course. But we ain't trying to be Seth Mitchell out this motherfucker neither.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's a big difference between you can't just hop into boxing, you know, that's not how it works, regardless.
Yeah. Get into the pros and stuff like that.
No. But a lot of guys,
he can win some amateur fights and do his thing. Yeah, he can do that, of course.
Yeah.
And he's a natural athlete.
Right. Yeah, I just bring it up because there's a lot of like I mentioned, kind of Brandon Marshall mentioned that he was going to try to take it seriously and do something. And I think a lot of people kind of forget that regardless of how athletic you are, it's not something that's just going to translate into boxing. Put
it like this. When they hit you,
started when you were 9 years old.
Put it like this: when they hit you in boxing, a flag is not going to be thrown in. Once they hit you in boxing, the flag ain't going to be thrown in. They're going to hit you again and again and again and again until you sleep. Or until your eye hanging out here like mine. You understand? Do you want to be Eric Kelly Jr.? No. You don't want to look like me, motherfucker. You feel me?
No, yeah, it's
a different animal. It's a different animal. It's a different animal. But like they have a lot of injuries in football. A lot of brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? But boxing has a lot of them too.
Right.
Boxing has a lot of them too. And like I said, boxing is a different animal, man. It's a different animal.
And you moved on from training people at Church Street, and then you started your own gym, which you got the shirt on right now, right? SouthBox.
Yeah, SouthBox. I want you to buy about 5 of them.
I will, man. I
definitely
want to check it out once things get back to normal. I have to make my way up there, but talk about your gym, SouthBox. I know that you've mentioned in some other interviews, like you really pride yourself on having a gym that's it's a fighter's gym, right?
Yeah, my gym is a fighter's gym. My gym is a fighter's gym, and that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't want a white collar gym. And I got love for white collar boxing. You know what I'm saying? They do their thing. But boxing gyms were a hotbed in New York City when I came up, 80s, 90s. Fast forward today, that's not the case. You understand what I'm saying? These gyms cater to the white collar fighters more than they cater to the fighters, to the kids. Where are the kids going? You understand what I'm saying? Like, look, you got Dog Pound, you got Rumble, you got Shadowbox. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. You got legendary glimpses like Gleasons. You know what I'm saying? Right. But Gleasons is a white collar gym. It's just been around so long that a lot of fighters still go there. But 75, 80% of their members is white collar. That's what keep the bills paid. You understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. So a lot of these gyms has converted over to white collar gyms. And I feel that boxing gyms in New York City, they turn their back on the youth. Because, like, these gyms got $200 a month memberships. The kids can't afford that.
Right.
$100-something a month membership, then you got to pay your trainer X amount of dollars. The kids can't afford that. At SouthBox Gym, I let all the kids come for free. They train for free through the Explorers program. From the Explorers program through the 40th precinct. You understand what I'm saying? The precincts have the Explorers programs, and they do different activities with the inner city youth, right? And I let the kids through the Explorers program come to my gym. They train for free, and I got a pizza shop called Monty's Brick Oven, a few blocks from the gym that I'm on owner of. And we order pizzas for the kids, and I call the program Pizza Box.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I mean, I think that's such a great thing that you're doing, and like you said, it's good to see a boxing gym that's a fighter's gym, and that you're helping out all these kids because at the end of the day, boxing saves so many lives. I know you've talked about how it's really saved your life, got you off the street, and gave you some discipline. And you're passing that on to the next generation. So with Pizza Box, obviously right now everyone's, with what's going on, but once things get back to normal, what's next for Pizza Box? Are you going to try to grow that and get some?
Yeah. We're going to grow that. We're going to get more kids, get the kids involved in little amateur boxing shows and stuff like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're going to grow that. That's what we here. We're not here to break down. We're going to break through, baby. We're going to win. We're going to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue to be a breath of fresh air. You understand? Because like I said, I feel that in New York City, boxing gyms, they turned their back on the youth. Boxing gyms turned their back on the youth. What gym you train at?
I was at GGE Fitness Studio with Coach Kelly Rich. That's his little studio there. And then I do make my way over to Gleasons when I can. It's not too close to me in Brooklyn, but Yeah, and then international.
Gleasons got Give a Kid a Dream, and they doing anything with Give a Kid a Dream. Gleasons have Give a Kid a Dream, and they're doing their thing with that.
You
Give
were
a
at
Kid a
Gleasons.
Dream.
Was it in what location was it at? Because I know they moved it, right?
When I was at Gleasons, I was at Gleasons in the 90s, like 93, 94. Those was my Gleasons years. So it was at 75 Front Street, upstairs on the second floor, 75 Front Street.
Yeah.
I was at Gleasons back in, wow.
Because I believe right in the late 80s, didn't it used to be in the Bronx?
Yeah, it was in the Bronx. Yep, and then it went down by it was actually by Madison Square Garden too, not too far from there. So it's had a few homes. So
you're kind of making your home in the Bronx, right?
Yeah. SouthBoX is it, and I do look to expand it one day. I want to expand it and move to another borough. You know, I wouldn't mind Manhattan or Brooklyn. You know.
Yeah, and what are some of the fighters that you have out of SouthBoX right now? Some of the amateur guys or pro guys, or tell me about some of the guys coming up on the way up.
Well, right now we got Christina Cruz, and she's killing it. She's doing her thing for the 2020 Olympics, several-time world champion, ranked like maybe number 3, 4 in the world, several-time national amateur champion. I'm naming Golden Glove champ, 10-time Daily News Golden Glove champ. We know ranked number 1 in the USA, and she qualified for the 2024 Olympics. You know. We got Peter Dobson, undefeated professional out of SouthBoX, you know. We got Christian Otero. We got a pretty good squad, you know. We doing our thing at SouthBoX. We got Thomas Boatswain, and he's a amateur fighter, and he got second in the Ring Masters this year. So we got a lot of guys doing their thing.
That's awesome. So you got obviously your pro guys, and you're keeping them out of your pizza shop, right? Only for the kids.
Yeah. The pizza box is for the youth.
Nice, you know? Man. That's awesome. So what's I know you were a middleweight, right? So I mean, when you watch boxing today, is your focus on that division, or what are some of your divisions that you got your eye on, and some fighters you like?
I don't got my eye on one specific weight, because when I left boxing, I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was times where I look at boxing and I see people that I know personally. Some people I fought, some people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see Jermaine, or I see
Andre
Lacey, or Andre Ward, or Darrell, or Andre Berto. Like, I see a lot of friends and stuff, but I never had my eye on one specific weight. I like boxing all across the board, you know?
Yeah.
So guys today I really like. I love Terrence Crawford. He's my favorite fighter today. I love
who do you think of Terrence and Spence?
And Errol Spence, I got Terrence. And I think Terrence will get him out of there before 12.
You think he stops him?
They don't go the whole way. And I love Errol Spence. Errol Spence can fight. I'm not taking nothing away from him.
Yeah.
I'm not dissing him. I just think that Terrence Crawford will win. That's how that go. You know, I really like Triple G. I love Danny Jacobs. You know, I love Boo Boo Andre. You know,
He's a guy who goes under the radar a lot, kind of Boo Boo Andre. I feel like he doesn't really.
He's been, but that's how good he is, though. Ain't nobody want that smoke. They were the sandpaper Lions ass.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I love Vasil Lomachenko. I like B-Hop, Chris Colbert. You know?
Yeah.
I like these guys. You know, Africa, Richardson Hitchens, young kid coming out of Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I love these little young boys coming out of Brooklyn. I love Shakur Stevenson out of Newark, New Jersey, 2016 Olympic silver medalist.
He's
undefeated now, world champ.
Yeah, so talented, and a guy like Teofimo Lopez, right? Another Brooklyn guy coming up.
Another Brooklyn guy. You know, like I said, Vasil, like, boxing is hot right now. Chris Colbert, little B-Hop, like, boxing is hot right now, man. And look out for my young boy, Bruce Shushu Carrington. He just qualified for the 2024 Olympics. 2020 Olympics. Well, I keep saying 2024. 2020 Olympics.
Yeah.
But with what's going on, look like the Olympics are gonna be in 2024.
Yeah, they may get postponed. But
You feel me?
yeah, with boxing right now, obviously, people are trying to get creative, around how they're going to have the next fights lined up. Obviously the UFC has got some fights that they already got through. And now Eddie Hearn with Matchroom and DAZN, he's talking about having fight camp at his house. And a fight that he really wants to make is Povetkin versus Dillian White in a heavyweight showdown. So I guess in that matchup for the WBC interim, who do you like there? And on the undercard, they're talking a lot about some lightweight fighters. Obviously, the lightweight is on fire.
You said Dillian White versus who?
Dillian White versus Povetkin.
I got Dillian White.
Dillian White?
Yeah. Wait. Povetkin just for Mike Hunter, right?
What's that?
Then Povetkin just fight Mike Bounty Hunter?
Well,
Mike Hunter's a 2008 Olympic.
Yeah, you might be right. I know. Well, so Povetkin and Dillian White, they obviously, they've been scheduled to fight for the WBC interim, and then it got postponed.
No, look it up. Do you buy a computer? Look it up. Look and see the Mike.
I'll pull it up.
Hunter. Mike Hunter versus Mike Hunter just beat Povetkin on the Wilder Ortiz 2 undercard. I was there.
Draw.
It was a draw.
Draw.
I thought Mike could have won that fight. But you see, but they gave, but Povetkin get the title eliminator. Why not Mike Hunter? Povetkin always testing positive for steroids.
And Dillian White did as well.
Huh?
Dillian White did as well.
I know that. But Mike Hunter ain't test positive for nothing. So
Right.
why don't they give Mike Hunter a shot at a eliminator or something like that? You feel me?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big,
I don't get it, man. I don't get it, man. This shit is basuda, son. You know what basuda mean? Trash.
Yeah, they got to clean up the sport. It's not good that guys are popping for stuff. There's been a lot of issues with that recently. But to move away from that, before I know you got to go soon, so I did want you to touch on the lightweight division, because I think the lightweight division is maybe the hottest in boxing right now, or one of the hottest divisions, with Garcia, Linares, Davis, Loma, Haney. The list goes on and on. So it's like, how do you see that division playing out if we get those big fights ideally over the next couple years?
I think the only person Garcia beats right now is Linares.
Ryan Garcia, you think that?
I think that's the only. I don't think he beats Haney. I think I know he got to win against Haney in the amateurs, but I know Haney got a few. But Haney got a few wins against him. I don't think if Tate is focused.
That's a big if.
If he's focused, Garcia can't beat Tank. You understand what I'm saying? Teofimo Lopez, Garcia don't want no smoke neither. Shakur Stevenson around there too.
He's a little lighter though, but yeah.
Yeah, but
Right. So who do you think is the? I mean, obviously Lomachenko. You got to give him the top dog status right now. But he's got a bunch of young, hungry dudes right beneath him. So I'm curious, like, what do you think the next couple of years? Who's going to be at the top still? You think Loma's going to be holding it down for the next few years, or do you think a guy?
Nah, not the next few years. One of these young boys going to pull up. You know what I'm saying? Probably Teofimo.
You think Teofimo is the guy to do it?
Teofimo, Tank. I put them above Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is a little bit too methodical. He don't got that upper body movement, you know what I'm saying? That leg movement. He's a little bit straight up in there, you know what I'm saying? He's a little bit too robotic. Good power.
So what about a matchup between Devin Haney and a Teofimo Lopez or Davis.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I don't know. I love Tio. I think Tio might get that one.
Yeah, man, it's a crazy division right now because you got obviously you got Ryan Garcia, who's a big hyped up fighter, but he's obviously got skill and he's working with Canelo team, which is like great. It's got to be good support for him. Then you got
I don't know. You talking that bullshit right now. I don't know.
You don't think Canelo?
The motherfucker got popped with steroids.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, motherfucker.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He got popped with steroids. His trainer's a butcher. So you can't blame it on contaminated meat. Your trainer's a butcher. And you're a millionaire. You're the top man in the whole country in Mexico. You're bigger than El Chapo. You get the best meat they got on the market. You don't get the same meat, man, you get from fucking Key Food. You get the best they got on the fucking market, nigga. The best on the market. You think you're gonna eat the same shit me and you buying out the grocery store, out Western beef?
No.
Do they even got a Western beef in Mexico, motherfucker?
I don't think so. And so what do you think about next for Canelo? Do you want Triple G to get that trilogy?
I don't like Canelo. I'm not a Canelo fan at all. You know that. Come on now. You know that.
You think Triple G gets him in a trilogy?
Nope. Triple G done. Each Canelo format, from Danny Jacobs to Canelo, you saw the depletion of Triple G. You saw a methodical breakdown. He looked a little bit better. He looked better against Canelo the first time than he did Danny Jacobs, because Canelo is a fighter that stands right there. Canelo, he needs you to stand right there. He needs you to stand in front of him. So he has superior upper body movement. I love Canelo's upper body rolling and countering. He's great at that. But when it comes to them legs, no. That's why Floyd had a field day with him. Floyd did what he wanted when he wanted. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But when Triple G fought him, Triple G, another motherfucker, you got two motherfuckers just standing in mud like this. You understand? So they just beat each other up more. But Canelo got superior upper body movement, so he was able to roll and counter. You feel me?
Is there a guy for Canelo that you think is going to give Canelo problems, or do you just kind of see him?
A Canelo fight is always going to be fixed. Look at the Kovalev fight, rehydration clause. Look at the Daniel Jacobs fight, rehydration clause. Look at the two Triple G fights, two arguable decisions. First fight, Triple G, I thought. Second fight could have been the draw. You understand what I'm talking about? A Canelo fight, Rocky Fielding, who the fuck is he? You never heard of Rocky Fielding until they said he was boxing Canelo. Did you?
What about a Callum Smith next up for Canelo?
Does Callum Smith have slick boxing movement like that? Is he slick and slippery and sly with his boxing movement? No. Canelo will beat him. You got to be slick and sly. You got to have feet. If you don't got feet, you're not a slickster.
Is there a guy out there that can get it done?
I like Bubba Andre. I think Bubba Andre may be able to do the job.
So you want to see that matchup?
Yeah, but he'd rather sandpaper Lion's ass and fight Bubba Andre.
Yeah, I mean, well, hopefully coming out of this quarantine and everything, the fans are going to be demanding some quality fights, and hopefully the promoters can get it done. We'll see what happens.
Hopefully they'll be demanding the fights we need to see, that we really want to see, right?
Exactly. The heavyweight division's already the best fighting the best, which we got to love.
I love that.
So hopefully that continues to trickle down to the lower divisions, and maybe we do get a fight like Canelo versus Boo Andrade.
Oh my God, I love it. What do you think about all the old school heavyweights like Mike Tyson, Shannon Briggs, and Holyfield? They training together. What do you think about that?
Man, I have mixed feelings about it. So I mean, I don't want to question Mike. I mean, he's not a normal person, right? I mean, he's a special fighter, a legend, an icon. So part of me doesn't want him to come back and get hurt or anything like that, because he is old. But I can't lie, there is part of me that is interested, because I'm just like, man, this guy is something different. Maybe he could, not at a top tier guy. I don't want to see that, but if he does,
you think he could be 1996 Mike for one more night? I don't know. You think he could be old school Mike just one more time?
Hey, tell me you wouldn't want to see Mike Tyson versus Andy Ruiz.
Nah, I wouldn't want to see that.
I wouldn't want to see it. I wouldn't want to
fuck Mike up.
I wouldn't want to see it either. But that's a fight I saw rumored. But at the end of the day, I think it's good for boxing to create some buzz. So maybe they do charity stuff. I definitely don't want to see Holyfield or Tyson fight each other, because I think that would get fired up real quick, because there's just too much history there. So I don't want to see that. Shannon Briggs, on the other hand, I think he could probably fight again.
I think Shannon Briggs will beat both of those guys right now. But at the same time, I don't think Shannon Briggs deserves to be in the ring with those guys, because who did he beat and who did they beat? Mike Tyson beat Larry Holmes. Mike Tyson beat Michael Spinks. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson was the undisputed heavyweight champ of the world. Two-time heavyweight
Shannon did get a win over. I mean, you can't discredit his win over George Foreman.
He got that George Foreman. He got that win over George Foreman. It was George Foreman, though. They're like old George Foreman.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
it was George Foreman's last fight, but still George Foreman. But I hear you, Shannon Briggs. I'd be interested in what he does next. I know there's rumors of him about doing bare knuckle, which is nuts. That
he did that. If he did that, he's gonna win.
Yeah. I think. I mean, the size of his fists. I'm like, I don't know who wants to get in a bare knuckle fight with Shannon. So but it is interesting to see all these heavyweights talking. I think it's good for the sport at the end of the day. But leave those guys out of it. I don't want to really see them come back too much, because we got a great heavyweight division right now. So,
that's a fact.
Hopefully the heavyweights, like we talked about, they're the best. They're already fighting the best in that division. I hope it trickles down and we get those like Canelo and Boo Andrade, or some of those highly anticipated matchups in the lightweight division as well, like we talked about. So, I can't wait for those. Hopefully everything gets back to normal soon, and we can get those matchups. But, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about your story and touching on a little bit of boxing as well. It was fun, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. SouthBoX gym, #1 gym in New York City.
Let's go. Check it out.